Hey, welcome back. In this video and in the next couple of videos, we will be discussing all about the HTML forms. Okay, so let's get started. So before moving forward, as you can see here inside of my code editor, I have an empty HTML document basically with only one heading which says HTML forms. Okay, and this is now opened with live server as well. Okay, and as you can see, this is the web page how it looks right now. It is pretty empty. Okay, so before moving forward, let's see some examples of the HTML form. So as you can see here inside of the GitHub sign up page, basically we are having this particular form, and this is an example of the HTML form. So basically here we are having the HTML and CSS all together. That is why the form looks pretty nice. But for us, what we will be doing, we will be mainly focusing on the structure of the HTML forms. Okay, so as you can see here, this is an input for the email, for the password, and after everything we are having a checkbox, and then we are having this button. Okay, another form is this, basically the Google search page. Okay, so here as you can see, this is the input, and here we can type something and search for something. Okay, so these are two examples of the HTML form. So in this video, what we will be doing, we will be just learning about the input element in HTML. Okay, so the HTML input element. So I have opened the documentation on MDN. Okay, so the input HTML element is used to create interactive controls for web-based forms in order to accept data from the user. A wide variety of types of input data and control widgets are available depending on the device and the user agent. Okay, the input element is one of the most powerful and complex in all HTML due to the sheer number of combinations of input types and attributes. Okay, alright, so let's create an input element. As you can see, this is the example of the input element here. Okay, alright, so let's create an input element inside of our HTML web page. So here, after this one, what I'll do, I'll just create the input and hit enter. So as you can see, it is now completed, and now we are having this type attribute here, and depending on the type of the input, we can have multiple types of input basically. Okay, so this is the text type of input, which is basically the text type. Okay, so hit save, and now as you can see, this input element basically a self-closing element. Okay, all right, so now we are having this input element. Okay, here I can type something. Okay, and yeah, that is basically it. Okay, all right, so this is the input element here. Okay, now as you can see, we can create some other input elements as well. So let's create another input element, and here inside of the VS Code, we are having many of the emit abbreviations, but what I'll do, I'll just create the default input element with the type of text. And now if I just do control and space, as you can see, we are having different types. One of the types of the input is basically password. So password. Okay, hit save. Now if I just go here, this is basically the first input element, which is the text type, and this is the second input element, which is the password type. As you can see, right now we cannot see the text which I have entered inside of the input element. Okay, so this is the password input element. So now you might be thinking like, hey, these are good, but how I can see like, hey, this is for username or email and this is for password. So we can add some labels for the input as well, but we will discuss the labels of the input element in a separate video. But right now what we can do here, we are having another attribute, which is the placeholder attribute inside of the input element. So placeholder. Okay, and here I can do something like enter username. Okay, all right, and here placeholder, and I can say something like enter password. Okay, all right, So what will happen? This will happen. So now, as you can see, we are having this placeholder text. Once I start typing, the placeholder text is now gone. Okay. All right. But if I just clear up the input, the placeholder text is there. Same goes for the password element as well, like the password input. Okay. As you can see, here is our placeholder text. Okay. And now, as you can see, depending on the position of these two input elements, the input elements are inline element. Okay. Basically, these two input elements are in the same line. Okay. And also, depending on the CSS, basically, as you can see, we can do something like this. The border, we can change the border, we can change the focus state, and so on and so forth by using the CSS, which we will not be doing in this course. It is totally the HTML which we want to see in this course, basically. Okay. All right. So this is basic input element in HTML.